America never was America to me, but I swear this oath, America will be. That is the story of how you got to this desk. You and I and everyone here, generations of folk who came here and said, America, I'm Irish. You may say, no, Irish or dogs need to fly, but I'm going to show this country that I can be free here. I can make this country love me as much as I love it. LGBTQ Americans, from Stonewall women to Seneca. And so you faced insults here that were shocking to me. Well, actually not shocking. But you are here because of that kind of love. And nobody's taken this away from me. So you got 5 more folk to go through. 5 more of us. They're going to accuse you of this and that. Heck, in honor of your person who shares your birthday, you might be called a communist. But don't worry, my sister. Don't worry. God has got you. And how do I know that? Because you're here. And I know what it's taken for you to sit in that seat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're
Way
back.
to start it off.
We're back. You better believe it.
Back with a vengeance, man.
We're back with that cringy Booker man. I don't know about y'all, man, but he cringes me up, man. The first time watching that with you, Kim, I was like, I
And
couldn't.
He's so theatrical.
Yeah, he needs an Oscar for sure. He's gonna
That's
be
the person that needs an Oscar right there.
No, he's the one that Will needs to smack. Anyway. Yeah, man. We are back. Sorry for the hiatus, but it just happens like that. Could like
Came
family.
back to bring y'all
work.
some news when there's so much news right now. It was hard to pick from. It really did. We had to narrow that list. It's just so much.
Yeah, and we're so late on it. It's like we're trying to find like the, that when something
We have to
happens,
make sure
it's like
it hasn't already passed yet. So.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about some stuff you guys probably have seen, but we want to talk about it. We
get
still
our
want
take
to,
on it, and then we would hopefully love to get your take on it.
For sure. Comments, please start commenting right now. Just
right
start
now,
going.
right now.
I don't care what it is. Hey, like your shirt, because you better like the shirts. You better like the shirts.
Or this one right here,
Boom.
Clark's Reawaken America tour. Because Fauci lied, people died, no big side.
Now,
I know what side I'm on.
Please be born again.
Exactly.
Amen.
Now,
love it. But
we got some matters to tend to.
We sure do.
And we got some crazy. Another thing we had to dwindle down to what we really think is the most prevalent with this Ketanji Jackson confirmation hearings that are going on. This lady scares the heck out of me. But there's been some good questions asked only on our side, and Mr. Blazing Ted Cruz, with his always fiery questions that he has. This is at least one of the really good matters of questions.
Before you bring that clip up, though, I mean, we're not just saying that because our side is supposed to not like the Democrat nominated judge.
Yeah.
That's not, no, because
when
Kavanaugh, and I'm looking back at Kavanaugh, okay, and the accusations that were thrown at Kavanaugh about all the gang rape. They had witnesses, okay? They had witnesses coming up and not being able to collaborate their stories and all this. So basically, with Kavanaugh, it was witnesses and everything that didn't collaborate their stories. There were really, that you could just blatantly see the attacks on Kavanaugh, whereas with Miss Brown here, they're looking at actual judgments that a judge made. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
you
not
know, the
looking back.
sentencing record and everything, you know.
Right, we're not looking back into her college days and seeing like, what kind of nefarious things she was up to. No, we're looking at the sentences that she gave to child pornographer uh people, that get into that
And the
crap.
crazy thing is that even Lindsey Graham, who I'm not a huge fan of, but he did bring up a point that I didn't load in here, but um, they had a few conservative black women that were going to be confirmed
Right.
that the Democrats shot down, and a lot of times they would try to demonize her or the ladies that were trying to get confirmed. But now that they got a Democratic activist judge,
Mhm.
they're going to sit there and try to say that we're racist just because we're asking about, sentencings and things like that.
Yeah,
It just doesn't make any sense.
no, it doesn't. It makes complete sense actually. As I'm shocked. No, I'm not shocked. That's a Cory Booker reference. But anyway, it doesn't. It makes complete sense because they want their judge to be the historic one.
Yeah.
It's all about color and all about race with that side.
Yeah, they
And
were pointing that out, and that was something that Lindsey Graham was bringing up is that, you now want to say, well, we should confirm it because it's so historic. Well, weren't the other ones, wouldn't that been the same type of historic, but you
as
didn't want it
as
because it's
historic,
conservative?
right? As historic as her nomination would be, what about the judgments that she would
Yeah,
make
which would
on
be
our
more important, in
nation?
my opinion.
And they would be historically bad, most likely, with seeing her past history on some of these cases. And it's just a good point, and it's worth I mean, I get that we're supposed to just fight against each other, but logical people, the people that are just searching for the truth, the normies out there that right there that are take it in, don't take your side and stick with it or something. We like
Yeah.
you got to research into what these guys are opposing, what they're presenting.
And who's funding her. Those are some interesting issues as well. And we'll get into that in a second. But, so everybody has seen the clip where Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee asked her to define what a woman is. And she couldn't define it. She says she's not a biologist. And everybody likes to act like, well, what was the point in that question anyway? That was just a gotcha question. Well, no, it wasn't. There are reasons why we want to know if you are going to be judging on what is, just fact. It's
Yeah.
obvious fact,
Ted
so
describes it
Cruz,
well here.
yeah, and so I think we need to see what he has to say on that.
So yesterday, under questioning from Senator Blackburn, you told her that you couldn't define what a woman is, that you were not a biologist, which I think you're the only Supreme Court nominee in history who's been unable to answer the question, what is a woman? Let me ask you, as a judge, how would you determine if a plaintiff had Article III standing to challenge a gender-based rule, regulation, policy, without being able to determine what a woman was?
So, Senator, I know that I'm a woman. I know that Senator Blackburn is a woman, and the woman who I admire most in the world is in the room today, my mother. It sounded as though the question was...
But let me ask, under the modern leftist sensibilities, if I decide right now that I'm a woman, then apparently I'm a woman. Does that mean that I would have Article III standing to challenge a gender-based restriction?
Come on.
Senator, to the extent that you are asking me about who has the ability to bring lawsuits based on gender, those kinds of issues are working their way through the courts, and I'm not able to comment on them.
Yeah, I bet you aren't. But you can comment on your mama being a woman and trying to get all emotional and get into your feelings and let the people that are watching get into their feelings about her mama and her. She's a woman.
And not bringing into the full, unreputed fact that women, no matter how you want to put it, a man transitioning to a woman, even with hormone blockers, even with estrogen added, they're never going to be fully and completely a woman with the bone density and, the physicality. Even the most malnourished man,
Right.
even the most skinny, small man has more physical ability even than a woman who, trains for 10 to 12 years before getting into some kind of sport, for their sport.
Right.
This is what the reason that they were asking the question was not a gotcha moment.
Mm-mm.
It was the mere fact that you have to be able to, make these conclusions based on actual biological facts.
And what's her answer going to be if she's actually having to make a judgment on a case, and something's still going through the court procedures, like she said? I mean, you can't, that can't be your statement when you're judging
Right.
this certain case that is in front of you. You can't say, well, that issue's still going through the court, so we'll just have to pass on this judgment. Just like he was asking, that would be the same, that would be the same thing going on if she was actually in a real hearing and having to judge
And that's
on
why
that.
we're asking these questions. Yes, of course it's hypothetical if Senator Cruz decided that 2 minutes ago he
Yeah,
was a woman.
it'll be
Obviously, that's
hypothetical.
hypothetical. We're wanting to know
Yeah,
if this is the case
yeah.
and he wanted the Title 13, to be applied to him because he now decided that he was a woman. How would you make that ruling based on the fact that he just changed
I think it was Article
into
3.
article, whichever one?
I don't know. Y'all can rewind and see
I
about
think it.
that, but I'm
But
not a lawyer.
I
I'm
mean,
whatever.
this is why that bill was put in mainly to protect women and to protect women's right to have their division be
Mhm.
only women so
Yeah.
that you're competing on that level. Now, you can be stronger or not as strong as a woman. You can work hard and have better technique than other women, and then you can compete on that level. The whole point is this is where the Leah Thomas part, in my opinion, if you go back and look at Leah before Leah was Leah and was competing on the male side,
Yeah.
he was what, like 67th
400.
or
No, it was like 400 something.
400th. Yeah, so he was
He was way down there.
way down. He wouldn't have even qualified to be on the team.
Right, which is why he said, you know what? I bet I could do better if I competed against some women.
Which is
Anyway.
that's the sad part about it, is that when you look at it in him being in his division when he was considered a man, not even be able to compete on the level of his peers, and so he decides to switch, and we're supposed to just be okay with this. This is what
Like,
that bill was for.
If this is the case, just think about it, because Ted made a great point that we didn't follow through with on that clip. But right after that, he goes right into culture or race. So, and it is a great point, because look, if you're gonna want to be, if you're gonna say that you just feel like a woman, and that's what you're gonna change your whole biology, you are gonna choose to change the biological setup that God gave you. If you could do that, I can choose to change my age. I can choose to change my race. I can choose to change what. You're not going to tell me that I'm not a 13-year-old Hispanic. You
Right,
can't
what's
tell me
stopping
that.
you? What's stopping you at this
Exactly.
point?
And
And
that,
I remember that slippery slope argument a few years ago where they said, well, and I hate to bring this up, I'm not necessarily against it, but when they started trying to include gay marriage, there
Mhm.
was that slippery slope argument
Mm.
of soon you're going to be able to marry your dog. Soon you're going to,
Yeah.
a man can compete as a woman in different sports. You remember the South Park episode
No,
where,
I didn't watch that part.
okay. Okay, there's a South Park episode where a
Who killed Kenny?
man transitions to a woman and decides to go like MMA boxing in the women's division and totally
Is beating up the women?
No, it was a cycling thing. I think it was because there was a cycler that was This was a couple of years ago too.
Yeah.
There was a
Oh, they've been
cycler
working
that
on it for a while.
transitioned and just blew out the car. And I mean, we're supposed to sit there and praise this person. I don't think you would get a lot more accolades, even if you transition, but competing in what your biology is and then beating them on that term and still saying that you're a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you are less inclined, because when you take the puberty blockers and everything like that, it is going to go down a little bit. But even in the Olympics now, since we're able to include transgenders, you can now qualify. You can qualify by you have to start, I think, the blockers, I think, a year before. You have to have a full year in, and you have to take a test, I think, a month before competing, and the test can still allow 2 times more testosterone than a woman has.
Wow.
You still can compete in the Olympics with 2 times more. That's just ridiculous.
And
It's
that
just not
that
fair.
is, you're halfway down the slope, and that's why, man. A few years ago, before this all got to where it is today, we were, the people that were awake and that were looking and were going, you guys are crazy. I mean, this is why we thought you were crazy, because it's going to send us down this spiraling path of nobody knows what or who the hell anything is. And
Yeah.
I it's just we got to have some foundational truths. You have to have them in life. I mean, just to go back to the marriage point that you made, it's like when we were discussing that years ago about the gay marriage. Well, the marriage, the only beef I had with it was that these people, the gay community was wanting to be united under God, and it just was the biggest slap in the face, because God didn't set it up for male and a male
No.
to be one. A man leaves his father and mother, that's a girl and a boy, to cleave to his wife, which is a woman. And
Biologically.
that's why it says it that way,
Yeah.
that is what description he was making. A man leaves his father and mother, and cleaves to his wife. So marriage was between a man and a woman. So if you wanted to get married, you can't do it God's way. I mean, they were wanting to get a whole, like a church ceremony. Go to
Yeah.
your backyard.
Yeah.
Go get. I guess you can find a preacher, or go
to City Hall and get married there.
Right. Thank you.
Justice of the peace. I
Yes.
mean, you can get married there.
And I'm
But-
not going to go into the tax reasons of why a gay couple should not have the same tax benefits that a man and a woman have, because you can't create life. You
Right.
can take care of life that was created from a man and a woman. You can take care of it,
Yeah.
but you can't create it. So
We
and-
have to have these distinctions, and
Mhm.
they're not just scientific.
especially
they
with
are
a
also-
Supreme Court judge, we
Yeah.
have to have distinctions, and she has to have a foundation and an answer for that type of question.
And
If-
what's
if you're a
sad?
woman.
What's sad is, so you have that one side where we're talking about the gender, topic and issues that she's wanting to just deviate from, and she's wanting to shy away from.
Mhm.
Another thing that she's wanting to shy away from, and she's really a little nuts and crazy, is her past sentencing
Mhm.
record. So she had these cases brought up with not only distribution of child pornography, but of course of the people who possess child pornography. There is a national average. There's also an average where I think it's a prosecutor. I haven't to remember the names, but I think the prosecutor suggests a certain time, which is usually a little bit less a lot of times. She would go way under that. way
Yeah.
under even what was suggested,
Yeah.
and not even as much as the national average on the sentencing. I mean, just such stark contrast differences. So
Like,
this is her explanation on these crazy low terms. Yeah, so she's trying to explain herself here.
As you said, the guideline was based originally on a statutory scheme and on directives, specific directives by Congress at a time in which more serious child pornography offenders were identified based on the volume, based on the number of photographs that they received in the mail. And that made total sense before, when we didn't have the internet, when we didn't have distribution. But the way that the guideline is now structured, based on that set of circumstances, is leading to extreme disparities in the system because it's so easy for people to get volumes of this kind of material now by computers. So it's not doing the work of differentiating who is a more serious offender in the way that it used to. So the commission has taken that into account, and perhaps even more importantly, courts are adjusting their sentences.
no, you're adjusting your sentences. But
it doesn't make any sense. It's actually, to me, it's more egregious than before, because you have to go on the internet. Like, I can't just be browsing through the internet, looking up shopping things, going on Twitter, and then just happen to just receive thousands upon thousands of child pornography.
Right.
That just doesn't happen.
Right.
So you still have to go looking for it.
You do.
Which is the whole point. You're going to
You
look
do.
for it, and if you have accumulated that much, you have downloaded it. A lot they do it with the ones that have downloaded it. You put it into your computer to keep and save and watch.
Yeah.
And you're doing it at a massive level, where before you were only getting a few things sent through the mail, because you didn't have the ability to do it before. Now, to me, it's more egregious now, when some of these cases were, thousands and thousands of images and videos of sometimes babies, not even teenagers yet. And like siblings on siblings. Some of them were the father getting the siblings to do this.
Okay.
And
Okay. I gotta stop.
But I'm just saying. So these are the sentences where the national average would be up, up here, and
like she's saying, it's the computer's fault.
Yeah, she's saying
like
it's the
that's
internet's
basically
fault.
what she's saying is it's the computer's fault, and that somebody that has one video of this stuff should receive less than a guy that's got 10 videos downloaded. And no, what if that one person is getting off to that one video constantly, but the other guy likes 10 different ones? That's what we're getting at. It's like you're trying to say that the amount of pornography should base how long they go. No. Why are we getting away from the child pornography?
And
it's
even
like
if it
that
is,
one subject, if it is downloaded in your computer, should amount to however many. Doesn't matter. You get caught looking at that stuff, being a part of that lifestyle, that's like accessory to the fact.
Yeah.
Somebody that's accessory to a burglary or a robbery, you're getting pinned just like the guy that actually held the gun.
Yeah.
And so you can't go that route.
And even if it is, she's doing such low sentencing on even 1,000, more than 1,000. She's doing these drastically low. I got to show. So somebody put up a good graph, a good graph on this.
Get a visual with this.
Yeah, this is how you can see. So, I mean, you got.
I mean, it's funny, you got Miss Katanji right there in the middle, like, look at me.
I mean, and like she's proud of it, and this is the point where when you're sitting there,
she
and
didn't know
you're
that
talking
was
about
gonna
the what is a woman. What about the kids? It's gonna be not all, but it's gonna be mostly female children, and they are taken advantage of a lot more, you know, just on average. And this is the point where it seems like you don't care about women in general, whether it be, 0 to 85.
Yeah, and
Doesn't matter.
what happened to poster childs, man? I mean, like pardon the pun, but I mean, you gotta set an example for these people. You have to crack down on this type of uh criminality.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and be soft on it because the criminals see that someone is soft on it, and that gives them the liberty to go ahead and download 10,000 more.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That is not a good argument, Miss Brown. Not because the Democrats nominated you or anything. I'm telling you, just from old Steve and Rosario, that is not a good argument to why you have such a track record on being soft on these guys.
And
Not a good argument.
something that y'all can dive into, uh, look at who's funding her when she was being nominated. She was being pushed. So the same people who were funding her were funding truck these ad trucks that go around DC that were trying to say that Boehner, the one that she's replacing, should
Mhm.
resign. The same people, I believe it's Defend Freedom, or I have to get the exact name, which I actually found out too. Jen Psaki, actually used to work for them too, the same company. They're the ones that are funding her being appointed.
I didn't
So,
even know you needed funding to get appointed.
yeah, well, if you see how they do things in DC,
Funds everywhere.
it's so seedy.
They're so fundy.
We need more actual patriots in these
Man, yeah.
places, and that's why it even worries me with the Republicans and everything. I just hope that in the midterm election, I hope that people that come in, I do believe that people are going to want to get the Democrats out and put Republicans
No,
in.
yeah.
Some of them, I'm hoping that it's not more rhinos and
Well,
just
well, just like you and me got involved in doing what we're doing here.
yeah.
Like God has laid on those politicians, those everyday guys. There's guys out there, guys and gals that have been laid on their heart that they need to enter the political arena.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we're going to see. Just like you've seen a boost of podcasters and truthers and stuff like that, it's the same thing's going to happen in the political world.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be the first year of where it's very evident that we are making a transition within our political atmosphere. Like
Showing
it's
that
happening.
we're fighting. We're not just sitting back and just taking it anymore.
That's right,
Just
man.
keep them on their toes.
They were so shocked on Trump. Like it was not
Shock the system.
2016 was not supposed to go down. And they've been in a freak mode ever since, bruh. And I'm loving it. Like I remember, and I know this way I'll say it, but I remember, oh my gosh, dude, the place I worked, I was the only guy that was like, Trump's gonna come out of that. I mean, they had like 16 Republican nominees and all that stuff, but we followed it intently until the election night with Hillary and them. And I
Yeah.
remember I remember where I was, just watching the TV and just before the memes, before the videos, I just remember watching MSNBC, and I clipped from them to ABC and all that just to see what was going on at the different channels. I just remember watching their faces, watching the complete horror that was going over these CIA agents that have
Yeah.
been planted in the media anyway. But watching these people just freak out.
Freak
And it's
out.
been that way ever since, man. And I know this midterms, this red tsunami is gonna it's gonna be the beginning. It might not just completely flip one midterm, but it's gonna be the beginning of a snowball of truth and good stuff ahead. I feel it.
Well, good one good thing also that has happened recently is rock star DeSantis um pulled it out again, just fighting for the parents who want to make sure that their children are taught reading and writing, arithmetic, actual science, and actual history, and that's it. That's all. And I love his explanation of people who who go against the bill, what you're actually going against.
And so I would just tell people it's a free country, do what you believe in, but understand if you are out protesting this bill, you are by definition putting yourself in favor of injecting sexual instruction to 5, 6, and 7-year-old kids. I think most people think that's wrong. I think parents especially think that's wrong.
Yeah, they do.
This parent right
Yeah, they
here
do,
does.
man. Some common sense, man. I just love a
Ah,
big cojones and common sense. I just love it.
I know we need more
It's
like
it's
him. That's what's sad is
it's
we
music to the
can't.
ears.
The only thing is we need more people to stand up and be just
There
like
will,
him. And we have a few.
yeah.
We have a few. I
Uh-huh.
also like Chip Roy in Congress. Like I think he's doing
That's
a lot
right.
of good things.
Chip
He's trying
Roy,
to
Johnson,
Yeah,
Grassley.
Johnson, Massey,
I
of
mean,
course, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've got a
we
few
got
there.
them.
We need to have more because they need more support.
Hmm.
I watched a recent interview on Tim Cast on Tim Pool's show with Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene that are both sitting there saying that's they're trying to work together. They're trying to be because they've had to separate themselves even from their own party,
Hmm. Yeah.
and so they're on whatever they're doing, they've got each other's backs.
Yeah.
We need to send more people like that there. We will
Yeah.
see more action
We
happen,
need some recruits.
especially in that House of Representatives right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, we need recruits, and I believe we'll get them. But DeSantis was making a great point in that clip. Like he didn't authoritarily like say if you're opposing this, you will be jailed or you're gonna be
No,
canceled or anything
but he
like that.
points out
But
what
he
you're actually for.
That's right. He look, if you are opposing this bill, this is what you support. All we're doing is all that Florida is doing is wanting to keep it away from the sphere of influence.
Yeah.
We get it that it's in the culture. It's the parents' job to keep it from them. But the people that we elect, to represent us, we want them to be the ones that help us keep it from influencing our children
Right.
in the schools.
In the schools. And y'all, we do have our next episode, which is going to be in the next few days. We are going to do a little bit more of a deep dive into this.
Yeah, because it's affecting right here in
Right
Mississippi, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it has crept and weaseled its way into the Bible Belt like
Yeah.
this. Like,
I mean, we are in the middle of Mississippi,
yeah,
and we have people. I mean, the story we're gonna bring it out
yeah,
tomorrow.
Clay
but
Edwards.
things that I've seen in the last couple of days, just has bothered me so bad. And some people even saying that they're Christian, they've read the Bible, and that God said that we need to accept everybody for the way that they are. I'm like, have you really read the Bible? Because if you have, you would know He does not say that we need to accept everybody the way that they are. In fact, He says, do not mingle with these people.
Very exclusive.
So that you aren't sinning yourself. He wanted you to stay away from that. He's not saying, though, to hate those people.
Correct.
That's the separation that they don't want to get.
Amen, sister. You go, girl.
So we'll get more into that. But, they love to give these things sweet little names. This is the Don't Say Gay bill, and we're going to be against someone saying that you can't say gay. To the point that it even made it on the Oscars. You ready?
We're going to have a great night tonight, and for you people in Florida, we're going to have a gay night. Gay.
So cringy. It's so cringy, though. It's so cringy.
Oh, you should have let that play so we know what actors to
All right.
to
We'll do it again.
be at. Go ahead. Where's that at?
Great night tonight.
duh.
And for you people in Florida, we're going to have a gay night.
Oh.
Gay.
Good gay.
Gay.
Good gay. Now we know these people. Denzel, I was upset, and I was surprised about John Travolta.
He did look like he was smirking a little bit.
It took, yeah, but I think he was
like,
against it. I don't know all about John, but
I
I was
don't
surprised
know.
about that. But Denzel surprised me on that. You know,
But some of these people are not looking into this, and if
Right.
okay, let's just take
He
it
might
back.
just be
You aren't
asleep.
looking into it. You're a Hollywood elite, and you hear that Florida has a "Don't Say Gay" bill, and you already believe
And we
what
gonna be
everybody's
gay.
saying about the South and
Yeah.
about what's happening in Florida, and that
True,
he's a racist and
true.
you
The
know,
stereotype
misogynist and
of
all
the
this.
South
So
is
you hear, oh, they
ridiculous.
passed a "Don't Say Gay" bill. Oh, I'm against that.
Yeah.
It's just like the people that just straight up support Ukraine. Same thing. You're
True.
not looking into this, you know.
Right.
And you should. Really, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting more annoyed at people who aren't looking into this
Right,
stuff
and-
and who's just going along.
They're not open to the opposition's arguments on it. Like us in the South, I mean, and in Florida in particular, like they have legitimate, intelligent arguments against why the gay agenda is not working for the family agenda. Like,
And it's not appropriate
not-
to bring up to children. It
Ooh,
really is not.
gay. We don't like that word, gay.
Yeah, they want to
Oh.
make it have these flowery, fluffy either
Don't say
should
gay.
be against this or should be for this, wording on it. Nothing in there said anything about saying gay.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what he pointed out to one of the reporters one time who was trying to bring up this controversial bill, and he said, "Well, tell me where it says that in the bill." And they wanted to, just keep shouting him down and say, "Well, what do you have to say?" No. Tell me where it says that in the bill. It says that nowhere in the bill. People,
Yeah.
and who started it. And it's so funny. You see the headlines of like these big, mainstream, who we're supposed to trust, news programs. All their headlines say Florida passes the "Don't Say Gay" bill. ESPN, they had women from the WNBA game say they're going to give a moment of solidarity to the women at Disney.
It's a culture of headline readers, and I know I've heard that phrase before somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where I heard it from, but it is a culture of people that read headlines and make their minds up just like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's no researchers out there. Like, this is something that we're getting into. We want our audience to get into this. We want to have some back and forth, some actual critical thinking, research why you stand on what you're saying. We tell you why we're stating it, and we tell you why we stand on it. But yet you have a large amount of population that goes right off of whatever that headline said about that situation, and they don't dig any deeper. They're just that's a shallow individual to me.
Yeah. Well, we got to bring up this. Disney wants to sit there and act like no one's talking about LGBTQI, all the symbols and letters.
For 10 years, bruh, for a decade, we've been talking
They've been
about
bringing
y'all.
it up for a lot longer than I even knew. And this was a leaked video from a conference that they held. And this next clip is from the actual Disney CEO, the one that says yay or nay to the shows. This is what she had to say on the topic.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. And that was the thing that really got me, because I have heard so much from so many of my colleagues over the course of the last couple of weeks. In open forums and through emails and phone conversations. And I feel a responsibility to speak, not just for myself, but for them, to all of us. We had an open forum last week at 20th where, again, the home of really incredible, groundbreaking LGBTQIA stories over the years, where
she had to look down.
One of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what?
Interesting.
That can't be true. And I realized, oh, It actually is
Shows
true.
how
We
much
have
you pay attention
many,
to your
many,
job.
many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and
Which
and
I
and
didn't
yet
even
we
think
don't
about.
have enough leads and narratives in which gay characters just get to be characters, and not have to be about gay stories. And so that's been very eye-opening for me.
Or just let them be
And
kids.
I can
Yeah,
tell
Tell cute
you,
stories.
it's something that I feel perhaps had this moment not
I,
happened,
Right.
I as a leader and me as my colleagues would not have
me.
Good
focused
thought.
on.
Yeah.
And going forward, I certainly will be more so. I know that we will be, and I hope this is a moment where
Send some tears in,
Shoot.
girl. Come on.
Get the
the
clump.
50%
Oh, yeah.
of the tears,
A little bit of
Oh
clump.
yeah, man.
sorry, are coming.
No, that's okay. It's good
Um,
acting.
We we just don't allow each other to go backwards.
Right. Yeah, you're way backwards, lady.
That is way backwards.
And it's backwards because all you're thinking about is you and your two queer kids. Like, please listen to your customers who are
Right.
saying, hey, I don't have any queer kids, and I'd like them not to really kind of be forced to hear what queer is, because they won't be able to repopulate, and if they do swallow what you're feeding them, like they won't be able to,
Right.
you know,
And their kids, they're so malleable.
follow God's word.
That's where
like,
it's really, really awful.
it's
The
ridiculous. It's
thing
so
that I don't understand
selfish.
is why push that forward. We didn't put this in there, but there was a creator of some of the shows in one of the studios in Florida that was on that same Zoom call and was talking about how she throws in the anywhere she can. She'll just throw in the LGBT characters just anywhere she can. Blah 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 blah. That's not actually representation, because there wouldn't actually in reality be that many that actually believe that actually feel that way.
Right.
But they're making kids think that, hey, you may not be a boy, you may be a girl. Think about it.
I mean, just question. You know,
Eh,
how were the first ones deceived? Of course, it was questioning God's word. You know,
Yeah.
that's the same trick. There's no originality to Satan's agenda. It's like, that's why I think that you know, the evil powers hate us so much, is because we are godlike, we are creative, we create, we have ideas, new ones, and love. We have been ingrained with God's love, and that's why he's so jealous, and that spirit just can't stand that we're so creative that we can, you know, we can turn this world into what God wants it to be. And no. He wants you to question everything that God has laid truth on your heart. Like, I'm a boy.
Right.
Who cares if that boy likes girly things? It's
Yeah.
fine. That doesn't mean he wants to be a girl. My brother, and I hope he doesn't watch this one, but he was a little feminine when he was a little boy. But mom didn't say, now don't be feminine. You know,
Right.
mama, daddy didn't say
Nobody
that.
got
Mama,
on
daddy,
to him about
nobody
that.
said like,
anything
yeah,
about it.
nobody was like, don't be a queer boy. You know, it wasn't like
No,
that
and
was
if you
going
look at him
on.
now, he is so 100% opposite of that. So if you'd have done that to him, that would have been one of those issues, one of those times where a kid who may act one way when they're a kid,
Right.
that he's definitely wasn't meant to be a female. He
And-
even definitely wasn't meant to be gay.
But
He
now,
definitely likes girls. You
Mhm.
know, he's
and
you
if
know,
he
married
would have
and have
been
a
born in
kid.
today's world, who knows what vindictive type of programming would have been put in his head to
Yeah.
make him just question just starting from his privates on up.
And the sad part is
What
that
am
it's
I?
starting to become going through the legal system, and at some point they're going to say your kid within school, if they
Oh,
you
they've
know, take them
taken
through a
th-
thing and they determine that you should be giving your kids this stuff, that your kid is not the sex that they were born with, that you must or you will go to jail.
and I'm sorry I don't have the specific name of this case, but there is a case in California. You can look it up. They actually detained, or they took this child from a mother because she would not allow the child to do the transferring, you know, the hormone
Yeah, the
block and
treatments.
all the treatments to make her gay. So they took her from her. She started doing the stuff and committed suicide later on.
And they want to put that
It's
statistic as a suicide because she was trans.
yeah, and the other side will try to blame that on, okay, well, the mom didn't want to let her be who she wanted to
Right.
be, so she committed suicide. No, they took her
No.
away from the mama.
And it's confusing as a kid. I mean, my gosh, I keep trying to put myself in that same predicament. That would be the most confusing thing ever.
I
Because
have personal friends that are dealing with this actual, and that's why it hits me so hard. Because it's that close. I have personal friends that have children that are having to deal with this type of onslaught of Disney Plus content.
yeah,
Like I gotta cancel it. I got to. I've got to make a confession. I still have Disney Plus. You truthers and you guys that are thinking right, I know, man, that's a slash on me.
yeah.
I'm
Well, I mean,
keeping them.
they've
I'm keeping it. I'm not putting it on like Spark Shorts. Y'all watch out for that. Spark
Yeah.
Shorts on Disney Plus. They have plenty of PC, and they have this one that I really know is like guy kissing guy cartoon, and it's just
Yeah, and we're gonna bring that up in our deep dive
Right,
episode.
right.
I think, uh, but w- lost my train of thought. I hate that I lost my train of
that's okay. That subject will
thought.
make
It's
you
gonna pop in my
go
head in the middle of the
loony.
next topic.
Loopy, it does. It sends your brain just on this roller coaster. It's like the kids, adults don't need to be thinking
Oh.
like this. There you go. Go. Boom.
No, I am happy though. We've got people fighting back in that territory. We've got number one. We've got Daily Wire is gonna start producing and having
That's right.
kids content
Come on.
to of course compete with Disney. I hope they get it started up pretty quickly, and I hope they have a few shows instead of one or two, because we need something to kind of let kids have
Yeah,
some
man.
stuff to watch.
Pureflix is trying. There's the Pureflix has been out there for a while.
I mean, you have Tuttle Twins that I just recently found out there was actual cartoon version. I love that, and
Yeah.
it's it really teaches kids a lot of valuable things, not only government wise and history wise, but just living life wise.
Yeah.
And it does, to me, we can even have it just don't be woke. Just don't be woke. Like, just have normal stories. Like, I'm good with that. Like, it doesn't have to have any kind of agenda.
Yeah.
But some, I would like them to know how government works. I would like to know that and have something that's not going to push them towards their own agenda. Just tell it straight. Tell it to the kids and let them know, because they need to be empowered without you telling them how to think.
Right.
Well, one thing I know you guys have seen, everybody's seen the slap. The slap heard around the world.
Slap heard around the world.
And it kind of made me sad because it's two people that I love their
That was a good one, Kim.
content, and I kind of hate that they had this beef. But
Beef?
they kind of they didn't
I call
have
it
until now.
ham. Because it's just it's bogus.
But we have something interesting here. So we all know the slap, but let's see where this may have come from.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Laughing.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow.
BioNTech and Pfizer are proud sponsors of the Oscars.
Wonder why that didn't just pop up.
I don't know. It is kind of strange though that Pfizer's having
I know. I should have looked at the name of that.
The one that makes
The
your
condition
hair fall out.
that makes your
That one.
yeah,
That
not
one that makes your hair
conditioner.
fall out. The
but-
same thing that they say that she had, which was really weird because I don't remember it being in the news, and who knows how closely
I think
that they talk to each other. But for some reason, He was
Yeah.
supposed to know her medical history, and he was supposed to know not to talk about it because it was a medical history. And by the way, it's not debilitating. It's not a debilitating health thing. It's not going to make you die. It just basically your hair falls out.
Yeah,
Your roots die.
they had to get it in the news,
Yeah.
and that's the way they got it in the news.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it, aren't they?
They're desperate. Look, Big Pharma and Big Holly. You know,
Like
what do they
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Those two
It's
entities.
hard to trust them.
Well, and it's those are some principalities that we are fighting against, guys. Like that Big Pharma and that Hollywood, they're linked just like that. Just like that. Like that they needed that advertisement. For one, it gave them ratings on the Oscars. Got everybody looking at it.
Yep.
Two, it's got whatever condition that Jada has, it's got people talking about it.
Yeah.
And Pfizer's about to release a
some
new medicine
yeah.
on it,
I
you
mean,
know?
how better way to promote it and have everyone talking about this disease? And then, oh, hey, do you have it? By the way, Pfizer has the new medicine.
Pfizer got it all, man.
Man, and they really need to watch out with stuff that their products are doing to people. We got a video just showing just a little bit, something that you know, just a little, you know, dangling out there for you people to go and research there.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. You know more about this content.
In other words, you take the 10,000 deaths in VAERS, you multiply it by 41, you get 410,000 deaths. Now, if those people weren't killed by the vaccine, what killed them? Nobody wants to answer that question. You know, it's the same with the insurance company. You know, the insurance company executive in Indiana thought he was just talking to his peers when he mentioned that there was a 40% increase in the third quarter in deaths of people under 64. That's not supposed to happen. If you look at the insurance statistics, they're all flat. It's the same number every year. And now it just jumps 40%.
Yeah.
How does that happen? That's a 12 sigma variation. It can't happen by chance. So it didn't happen by chance. Something caused that. This is like the greatest cause of death in human history, and nobody knows what it is. I talked to embalmers. Embalmers are the end of the line, you know, the right before you go 6 feet under. I talked to embalmers. I talked to one embalmer, 93% of her cases, that's what they call the dead bodies, they call them cases. 93% of the cases had these blood clots that had never been seen before the vaccines rolled out. Now she's seeing those blood clots in 93% of the people that she embalms. This is the greatest killer of mankind. This is the worst cover-up in human history. 150,000, probably more than that. Probably 400,000 Americans have been killed by the U.S. government.
Yeah, because you got to put those, and he went to that same comment about the VAERS being a 1% of, you know, actually reported.
Not all reported.
Now, I know that jumped big from, you know, we're talking about trans and then we go into the slap, but this stuff is all connected, guys.
It is. It is, because if you think about it, even the treatments for the hormone blockers, it can really do a lot of damage to your body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all another prop up for Big Pharma.
It is.
That's more medicine.
Yes.
That's more things to put in your body that's not natural. Yeah. And this is it. It's not just physically bad; it's mentally bad.
And to the blind people like Cory Booker that we started with, you know, the blind leading the blind. It's like they have no clue, but they're just leading you down this road that now Big Pharma has a clue. You know, they got a clue.
There's so many players in this.
So many. Hollywood. I mean, they're all connected, and they're just doing this huge. You got to see how it all connects, and that's what we want to do here, and we're going to continue to do on this podcast. Is we want to connect how these spiritual principalities within these entities of pharma, politics, Hollywood, you know, how they're all connecting. They're all just merging together so perfectly nowadays. And it's now we need an offense, you know, and
we need people to get awake and
Mhm.
stay awake.
Yeah. And I heard a comment back on that DeSantis bill, that's great, DeSantis. Yes. But we need people that are actually even going to go farther than DeSantis and get in your face with facts. Truth. Stand on that truth. They're going to stand on that truth flat-footed.
Yep.
Just right there. I mean, and when you do have the truth, you stand flat-footed. You don't waver, and just to I got to bring the optimism out, man, because the optimism is there. I'm seeing the shift happen. I'm loving it. We're on the right side of history,
They're
guys.
playing their cards too hard, too fast, and I think it is waking people up. I mean, that's why you were able to pass bills. I mean, last November we had there was like, I think, I forgot how much. Anyway, West Virginia. Sorry, had to think
That's
of the
cool.
state. West Virginia went to Biden. I think 10%, more went to Biden.
Yeah.
They flipped it so much that they got a governor in there for the mere fact that they wanted to take more control over theirs and their children's lives. I mean, that he was basically one issue made him become governor, because he said he was going to get out of the way and he was going to make it to where the parents had control in the schools. That was so big to people that they decided to vote him in. And a lot of people who said that they were the one to vote for Biden, they were big Democrat, until they started coming out.
You talking about Virginia? You talking about Youngkin?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it was Virginia.
So
which one
you're
did it do?
exactly right. I mean, they shifted.
Yeah.
And they see that, they feel
they can
that.
take one issue and them stand. That's where I'm saying, people who are running for stuff, stand your ground.
Stand your ground.
Stand your ground. Listen to the actual people. Don't only listen to your advisors.
Right.
Don't just sit around and say, what does this say in this poll?
We hope your main advisor is the Lord God Almighty. That's who we want. Look, I'm going to boldly state it, Kim. We need God's people in the offices of these United States. We gotta have them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's the kind of boldness that I'm talking about, though. You can be bold and stand for children's rights. You can stand for parents' rights. You can stand for, low taxes, all these, great things. But God, put some boldness in your life. The Lord needs to lead the ones that lead us.
And we, your constituents, will recognize that you're not seeming to be told what to say and what to do by other people, that this is actually something you're passionate about and you have conviction.
As laymen
Usually just having conviction will help.
Real recognizes real.
People.
That's right.
Yes.
Real recognizes real.
Yes.
It's the whole reason I looked right at Trump. I said, that dude is real.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. There's a video we don't have on here or anything, but Phil Robertson, Duck Dynasty. I know a lot of you guys out there that ain't from the South would be like, oh, he's just an old bumpkin, Cajun bumpkin. That man speaks a lot of truth. He's got some smarts, and he knows his Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a great clip out there, if y'all look it up, Phil Robinson he's not talking to Trump, but he's talking about when he spoke with Trump and the few times that he did have a meeting with him. It'll get you right to the core, man, because what Phil Robinson did, he did what I wish a lot of our elected officials would do. He put Jesus right in Trump's face. He said, I need you to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
And not any of that. Because and just look up the interview. It's great. I'd like to probably pop it out in one of these. It'll be relevant. It'll be relevant weeks from now.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get it in
Know
there.
how the news moves.
All right. Well,
Goodness.
We got one thing to leave y'all with, just for the mere fact that whenever
this is what I saw.
So you brought it up, but this is the truth. This is what both of us see. Whenever the slap heard around the world, when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, this is kind of what we envisioned.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's it, y'all. That is it. Thank y'all for coming and joining
Thank
us
ya.
again. Yes,
And be
yes.
sure to watch for our deep dive into the LGBT agenda that is getting so acceleratingly pushed in not only our schools, but in Hollywood, and possibly how to fight back. Just keep yourself informed so
Yeah.
you can keep your kids informed, because you know they're going to
Yeah.
have questions. You want to be able to answer them. And we'll just go through this together. All right.
That's right. Stand strong, guys.
All right. Thank y'all.